he had started planting seeds of doubt in the minds of the people that I was ministering to, or people that I'd formed relationships with. And I think, honestly, he foresaw the end. Like, he knew he was about to get busted. And so he was trying to, like, you know, protect himself as best as possible.
He up in the closet? Like, I said, like, he up in the closet? Like, he about to get caught up.
Exactly. And so, and I realized that because as things started coming out, people were questioning me too, like, but I heard you already knew, or did this happen though, San? Or you said this, but blah, 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 blah. And I'm like, wait, what? Like, the fact that it turned on me tripped me out. So I went through probably about 6 to 8 months of just being falsely accused, of being dragged through the mud, of being disrespected. And it was like cruel and vile. And it was so hurtful because it was someone I loved so much, you know what I'm saying? And we were strictly friends, but I was like, dude, I started a ministry with you. You know what I'm saying? Like I've defended you to no end against anyone who ever tried to attack you or what you've been trying to do or what we were trying to do, even unto the Lord. And I just felt like I held him down. And so for him to not only not have my back, but then to be dirty about it, like for me to find out things he was saying and to be cruel, and then ultimately to just lie straight to my face, but to convince everybody else he was telling the truth so he could gun for me. I was crushed. And I remember to realize, to learn that he was so dirty, because again, he's involved with these women and all this stuff is happening. And then he got the benefit of dragging me, I felt, or the luxury, the added bonus of dragging me through the mud. I couldn't believe that the Lord allowed it. And it was interesting for me because, you know, I was like, that was the first time I felt like I gave everything to the Lord. I was like, I'm not going to worry about money. And I didn't. I'm not going to worry about things, like, this ain't my thing. Like, if I met you and you were like, I want to serve the Lord, you're like, I need a car to, go to this interview. I'd be like, girl, you can take my car. In my head, and I literally just met you. No cap. It's like, my car belongs to the Lord. My money belongs to the Lord. My time belongs to the Lord. Like, it was to an extreme. And I was like, man, God, I've withheld nothing from you. I'd been celibate for a long time. I struggled off and on with masturbation. When I tell you, when I was like, nah, I'm about to serve you hard, I feel like the Lord just took everything. So when I say I was just walking, I was like, psh, 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 to whatever. Forgive people that were dogging me out. No problem. And so I think I did not see it coming, right? The suffering part. My friend, I thought, doing what he did, period. But then trying to take me down with him. Because it was literally like, if I'm going down, I'm taking everybody with me. And the Lord let it happen because it happened for so long, right? And I was like, man, God, you couldn't have like came and got me. You couldn't have stopped it at this point. You couldn't have
Scooped up,
you couldn't have like he won, but he was dirty. And I'm in the middle of all of this, fallout, trying to help these people, trying to figure out some type of way to restore, and trying to wrap my brain around how God let this happen to us all. Because we got played, and you knew. So I don't know if you want me to keep going, but I'll stop right there. It was devastating.
Even hearing that, and I can almost, some people in the comments was like, child, like, you better than me. Because I think my natural, in just hearing that, right? Like, everything you're giving to God, everything you're,
single. I wasn't trying to date no more. I wasn't on a career path, y'all. Like, it was crazy. When I say I forsook all, when he said you got to lose your life to gain it, I was like, all right, I'll give it up. I'm going to be like Paul. I'm going to count everything as a loss for the sake of knowing Christ. I'm going to do it. I was like, sign me up. I'm in.
And so I think it's crazy because I think often, especially when suffering happens, if we're not careful, we can have, and you could speak on this if this was maybe like just something that was kind of happening in your heart, but I can only imagine for myself, like me going off on the list, right, of almost entitled, of like I don't deserve this.
Oh,
I
That was number one.
I
I
gave
was like, I don't trust you. And because here's the thing too with suffering, I think. What's startling about it is that we expect to go through something, but we never expect it to be as bad as sometimes it gets.
mm,
So that jacks us up. It's like, I was like, Lord, I'm good. Because I had gone through stuff. It's not like I hadn't gone it through anything in those 7 years, right? But that was so brutal. It
mm,
was like, we don't even have time. Words cannot fully express just how crushed I was. Like afterwards, I was good on God. I was like, and I was like, we'll talk at some point, but right now, I'm good. Cause
mm.
that, wow, yo, like I just never thought it would get that bad. That was really that was the reality check. I never thought it would get that bad. And he showed me, but
So it's interesting because it's one thing to be betrayed in a sense by, not in a sense, literally, to be betrayed by not only a friend, but also like your brother in Christ and
yeah,
pastor. So this is kind of like a triple whammy, you know? But then on top of that, to feel that same sense of betrayal from God.
yeah, absolutely.
So within all this, when you said like you kept feeling like, okay, like you know everything, so you allowed this to happen, not just to me but to all of us. So like in, you know, back then, like what was going through your head of how did you think God felt about the situation as like as everything's unfolding and you keep getting, you know, like raked over the coals, like how did you feel God saw all of that?
I didn't think he cared. Like I honestly it had made up in my mind. I was like, oh, you like I felt played, right? So I was like, oh, you brought me into your family for me to suffer.
Mm,
Got it. And to this day, that's something the enemy tries to trip me up on. Like when I start going through something, it'll
mm,
be like, the Lord just wants you to suffer. Like he don't want you to enjoy nothing. You're called to suffer. You know what I'm saying? Like a martyr, essentially, you know? Um, but yeah, I just felt like I was like, man, and I thought, if I'm honest, I guess I had to believe. I never really thought about it till you just asked, but I had to believe in some sense he was like cruel and
mm,
not loving as I thought he was. You know what I mean? For me to, because ultimately I didn't trust him anymore. I
mm,
was like, and I remember I arrived at this place where I was like, you know, I think God is good. He's just not good to me. And I was like, maybe it's something I did. You know what I'm saying? Maybe this is payback for something I did when I was younger. So that's why. But
mm,
you know, he'll probably answer when I pray for y'all, he's gonna do it.
mm,
But if I pray for myself, no, what I'm gonna get is beat up. He's gonna make me get beat up. I guess maybe he thinks I can take it.
mm,
Like it became a very kind of like really sad, pitiful, you know, it wasn't like I was serving God, the creator of all and who's
mm,
everything and every good and perfect gift comes from this God. It was just a God who has some purpose I really didn't know, and but he didn't care about me as much as I thought he did.
mm,
Because if he did, he wouldn't have allowed this to happen. Which is so, and I don't want to jump ahead of you, but it's so limiting.
mm,
Because one thing he's taught me since then is that he's looking at the big picture, but we only looking at our own little individual life and how it's impacting us. Because what I learned later, because I did go through it and I did not raise up, I did not pick back up my cross. And you know what I'm saying? Like I was raised with my uncles. My dad wasn't there. My uncles, I was really close to my mom's brothers, and she had 5 of them. And I was close to her father, my granddad. So I was an edgy little girl. I was not a girly girl. I had hands. Like so it could have popped off at
don't try.
I wouldn't have been scared at all. You know what I'm saying? Like, oh, word, this is what we doing? Because I can take it there. I had just been redeemed, so I was trying not to. You know what I mean? But so I was just like, man, like if it was okay for us to get get gully. I could have did that, Lord, but you got me over here humbling myself. Like, come on, man.
Mm,
Um, but yeah, I really see that people seeing that, my response was that.
mm,
Ultimately, and it didn't happen immediately, but in like over the course of months and even years, they were like, nah, like you represented, you were a woman of God, dude. Like they were so impressed. So I don't know, how that built their faith, right? Or encouraged them in the moment or inspired them. I'm assuming it did because they later came back and said something. And I think that was a big part of why the Lord allowed it. Like he was going to get more glory out of that for them, right? So it's just showing people that we have the capacity to endure anything with the Lord. Like his word says, all things are possible through him. It's true, even that. And like, I went through, I did therapy and stuff after, like I was jacked up, y'all.
mm.
And I remember my therapist, I think I told you this, he said, San, I know you are devastated. I know you're hurt. He's like, I know you're mad at God. Because he was a Christian therapist and he had gone through something similar. He said, but I promise this will be the best thing that ever happened to you. When I say I wanted to fight him, I wanted to cuss him out. Like I was like, why
Oh,
would you say I'm in the thick of
how
fear?
dare, yeah, yeah.
Like,
I'm
not
eating, and you're like, this is the best.
this is the best thing. I was like, but he's right.
Mm,
He's right.